Hey everyone, welcome. It's a First Alert weather day, and we are checking in on this morning's stretch. I'm Tricia Sloma, along with Matt Engelbrecht and Kirsten Glover. Good to see you, everyone.
Hello.
We are, you know what, I'm getting feedback already. How did I do that?
Feedback, positive feedback, I hope.
Always, right? Trying to keep it on the positive. No, you know what, I have my audio up and I have it on my phone, so I think I turned everything down. So I'm good. It's a First Alert weather day, though, Matt.
Yes. Tricia, how are you doing?
I'm okay.
You okay?
You know, this has been something with the weather the way it's been. And boy, if folks were out driving in it yesterday, they really felt it.
Which, it's a strange place to be in because usually you think we can handle 2 inches of snowfall.
No.
We couldn't handle 2 inches of snowfall yesterday. No. And I think a lot of it came down to just not only the timing, but just the reaction. I think the amount of snowfall wasn't enough for people to really take it seriously and take precautions because there were a number that the scanners in the newsroom just lit up yesterday when that snow was coming through, and that's part of the reason why you can see some of the footage. Yeah,
let's put that up. In fact, Kirsten, you were someone who said we've got to put this in the show this morning.
Well, it came out of nowhere. I was out driving around in it, and all of a sudden, it's a whiteout. It felt like a blizzard. The wind was blowing like crazy, and then I go on Facebook and I see this big crash.
Yeah, and we had a great coverage of it. This is the bypass, folks, and the police, St. Joseph County officers, from 8:30 in the morning until 4:30 in the afternoon, they responded to some 33 crashes. Not all of them weather-related, but most of them were weather-related. And this particular one was a 15-vehicle pileup, and you can see there's semis involved. Looks like a school bus was involved. Thankfully, most of them are just, pretty minor in terms of the accident and cost, but and no injuries that we know of, not anything serious anyway. But boy, this was time-consuming for our public officials, but also people who were trying to get on their way. And Matt, that's something that you've been talking about. When people get on the road, they just go too fast. They're trying to get somewhere, and they're not changing the way they think or drive in this kind of weather.
Yeah, and it was like we were saying yesterday, a part of it was visibility, and we knew we were going to get snow. I just think it caught a lot of people by surprise just seeing it, because you look at an image like that,
right,
and then you look at the data and the numbers, again, 2 inches of snowfall, that's all we got here at the station, and it caused that kind of issue. So a lot of it having to do with, again, needing to slow down in these conditions. I was talking to Jack about it in the Weather Center, in the First Alert Weather Center, that we haven't had a lot of snow this year, but I think it's years past we haven't had a lot of snow. So it is one of those things.
Driving skills, folks.
Yeah.
Got to learn. Okay, so today, our First Alert weather, main roads are just so clear, and I was so grateful to see that. But if you do drive on the bypass today, there could be black ice. Just be smart, right? Yeah,
that's not the wind chill. You're looking at your screen there. That is the actual temperature. That's 8 in South Bend, 8 in Elkhart. And a little fun science for you because, well, that's what we have to do is bring science when it gets exciting and fascinating. 21 in St. Joe, 1 in Plymouth. The northwest wind, 2 things going on here. One is a cloud cover, and that's like a blanket. And the other one is Lake Michigan is still relatively warm for this time of year. So the air right above Lake Michigan with that northwest wind is drawing over land, and that is why there's a big separation in our temperatures this morning.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have even colder temperatures next week.
It is. It's looking bad. I was just talking about Jack. I mean, we're talking, one of the pieces of data that we looked at had a -1 for a high temperature next Monday. Again, that was one piece of data. We take everything into consideration, but the trend is for cold temperatures. And we've been seeing it for over a week. That's why that First Alert weather day has been issued for over a week for next week.
All right. Kirsten, I know you keep an eye on what people are chiming in about.
Yes.
Anybody saying anything? Were they stuck in this yesterday?
Yes. There's Miss Emily. She was on the bypass at the same spot about 30 minutes prior to this pileup. She said she's not driving too fast, but her car just wouldn't stop.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you think, oh, I'm good, and you have that confidence, and about the time you try to stop, you start fishtailing or you find yourself in a ditch. Doesn't take much.
So what do you do?
Bypass.
What do you do in that kind of? I know we're going to get more snow tomorrow morning, so if
Yep.
you find yourself in that situation, the hope is that you're going slow enough
Yeah.
that when you do regain traction, it's not in a ditch, it's not in the woods, it's not in somebody else's car. So the hope is that, yeah, it is a very scary feeling not to be in control and being able to stop when the snow is out there and the snow is coming down. But the hope is that you can't stop going 15 miles an hour, not 45 miles an hour.
Well, when back in the old days, they used to say pump the brakes a little bit. To get to a stop, you don't pump the brakes anymore.
You don't, not with the anti-lock brakes.
Yeah,
Correct.
they sound like they're grinding a little bit, but that's exactly what they're designed to do. And they're keeping your brakes from locking up, keeping you from going into a total spin.
Right.
And that's the whole idea. Experts say you're supposed to drive into your skid just a little bit. Sometimes you're panicking, though, and you just start slapping that steering wheel any which way it'll go.
Yeah.
But again, speed is the key here.
Correct.
If you can possibly just go slow, and then your reaction time is so much better. You can take a handle of the situation and take control of the situation. So that's always the best bet.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Kirsten, we have the moon to talk about, right?
Yes, we do.
That was a big one.
We do. It's going to be a wolf moon.
It is a wolf moon, and it's been bright out there.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to actually set within the hour. It's actually out at the same time as the sun.
There have been a number of instances over the last 48 hours, and one in particular, somebody has come up to me and said, is there a full moon coming up soon? It has nothing to do with how bright it is in the morning
Right.
or at night. It has everything to do with the way people are reacting.
Every time.
And part of me thinks, well, maybe all those car crashes yesterday for an inch or 2 inches of snowfall, let's blame it on the full moon. Maybe it was a full moon that did it.
Yeah, why not?
Oh,
You ask nurses and doctors, they believe.
It's real.
They believe. They understand.
Yeah.
The wolf moon, according to the Farmer's Almanac, is called the wolf moon because wolves are out and active during this time of year. Okay. I think they're pretty active and they're out howling, I suppose. Boy, I mean, and it also passes in front of Mars, is that right?
That's right. Yeah, so it looks like, it eclipses. The moon eclipses us and Mars, so it comes in between it. So you don't see Mars for a little bit, and of course you can see the footage there. That's not live. No. That's recorded video.
Oh, wolf moon. It was so bright this morning. I walked the dog and all the snowfall that had fallen and the yard looked just beautiful. It was, sparkly, I guess.
Yeah.
And then that moonlight was just so bright. It was like we had flipped a light on to walk the dog, and it was kind of nice.
Yeah, and we should see, let's see, so it's setting now, should see the moon rise later on this evening.
Yeah.
I think cloud cover is going to come back in early in the morning on Thursday. But full moon.
That's so wild. All right. Well, we want to talk about travel. You're already getting people asking what the weather's going to be like in Atlanta on Monday for the national championship game. If you're going to the game, folks, you are okay. You're going to be in a dome, the Mercedes-Benz Dome. It's okay. You're going to be all right in there.
Yeah, and it's similar to what we had in New Orleans in that there's a strong cold front coming through. We've been first learning to that here, but it is going to stretch far to the south. Now, getting to Atlanta, there could be some travel problems coming up this weekend, and it not necessarily won't be in Atlanta. It's going to be, once again, that trickle-down effect depending on where the storm system is set to track.
Well, speaking of travel, wow, they've got some new planes.
Look at that.
Kirsten, you were looking at the schedule, and you were really jazzed about that. You put it in the show this morning. Frontier and United both helping us out?
Yeah, so out in Chicago, the Frontier through Midway and O'Hare are going to have direct flights to Atlanta, there and back. And then here in South Bend, United added a flight there, but to get back, you're going to have to fly back into Chicago.
Yeah, there's probably some connecting flights you're going to have to take. I don't know. If Irish fans, if Notre Dame wins, they don't care how they get back or if they get back. They're just going to take their sweet time and relish in this victory for sure. But this is all happening ahead of the game. They've got nonstop flights as far as Frontier. That's January 18th. The return date is January 21st. The United flight is taking off at South Bend International on the 19th. So you're going down one day ahead of the game. So just keep that in mind if people are still looking for tickets and still looking for travel plans. So you've got buddies that are going to the game, though, don't you, Matt?
Me?
Yeah.
No, so it's the exact opposite. It's everybody knows we're a really big Notre Dame fan, the Engelbrecht family,
Yeah,
we're really big Notre Dame
sure.
fans. So I get people that are outside the Midwest texting me, just asking, "Are you going to the game?
You going?
Are you going to the game?
You going to the game?
There's no way. We got school, we got kids, we got like you can't just here we go.
Yeah.
It's just been this. No, not. We went to the IU game. My brother and I went to the IU game.
that had to be so fun.
Here at Notre Dame, which was a fantastic experience. So we got our playoff game in, but we're not going down to the national championship.
Everybody's
I don't
asking
wanna be
me the same thing because I'm an Ohio State grad. Of course,
Yeah.
I follow the Buckeyes. This is like the best case scenario for
you
me
going to the
because
game?
I've rooted for them. And then I did this deep dive documentary on Notre Dame
Yeah.
football. This is the 100th anniversary of Notre Dame's first national championship. Marcus Freeman is in his third season. That's the same that Lou Holtz was in, Dan Devine,
Yep.
Eric Persigan, when
some
they
big
won
names
their
there.
national titles.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many things are lining up for the Irish to win it all this year. So everybody's asking me, they're like, Sloma, are you going?
You going?
No.
You going? Why aren't you going? Well,
I
what do you
would
mean?
love
You
to
can't
go.
drop everything to go. It's at 8:00 on a Monday night. So
You know, for as much as I talk sports, I don't do sports.
It is a holiday,
Our
though.
sports team has really been working hard. And I mean, we've got Sabrina Hoover and we've got Jackson Neal. They are incredible at what they do.
Yeah.
They've been amazing through the playoffs and they have been getting interviews and everything else. I think about what they did in New Orleans. I mean, they were covering news events with the attack that happened in New Orleans. So they just have been amazing. And you can continue to watch the Countdown to Destiny. It is right here on 16 News Now. Folks, we have continuing coverage. You can watch every show, a little something different. And I think that's what's great. Kirsten, you've been in touch with Jackson. You see them at night sometimes. By the way, Kirsten's schedule is one that she often sees the nighttime people. We never see them in the morning, but she
No.
see them over at night. But you often see them, and you know how hard they're working. They're bringing us
yeah.
the coverage. They're giving us these scripts and special interviews, too.
They're working really hard. They're getting us everything that we need for our morning show, and it is greatly appreciated, honestly, so that we have the content that we need to
Yeah.
put out to the people. So.
do we
Yeah.
know when our sports department's going to be flying out?
Yeah, I was wondering that, too.
Because they have it's just similar to the Super Bowl. The entire week before, every day there's kind of like a different event or a different thing.
Yeah, they could be down there right
Leading
now
up to
doing
it.
coverage
Well,
or
they-
leading up to it.
They
yeah.
had been flying out like the day before.
Right.
So maybe Sunday night.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, we'll see. Yeah, but again, Destiny. Countdown to Destiny. Continuing coverage right
Let's
here.
go Irish.
On 16 News
go.
Now. Let's go Irish, let's go Bucks. I tell you, I am tortured for sure. But you know what? We also want to talk about Wednesday's Child before we go.
Yeah.
We want to wrap this up, but I do want to talk about Wednesday's Child. Today's Wednesday's Child is 12-year-old Shiloh. You can watch tonight just before 6. The story on our website, WNDU.com. Grant Me Hope from Michigan sent us her video. She loves to cook. She likes to make spaghetti, nachos, lasagna. Oh, boy.
What
Kid
does she
after my
want
heart.
to be when she grows up?
Listen to this.
does
She
she wanna be?
loves the Twister movies, and she just might be a storm chaser someday. Can you believe that?
I can absolutely believe that.
Well, she said in her video, Matt, and you heard her say it, that she was always interested in weather and storm chasing, but when she saw the Twister movie,
Yeah.
that changed everything.
It's a whole new generation. Back in the early 90s, it got us going with Helen Hunt and their
Yes.
cast. And now with Twister 2, it's starting a whole new generation of people interested in the science and chasing Mother Nature's beautiful destruction.
How old is that first movie?
Now, there's 91, 92,
Oh, my gosh.
91, 92.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that old. But it's worth watching, folks, if you can. Watch these movies. But you can also watch Shiloh in our Wednesday's Child segment. It runs tonight just before 6. But that's what we've got. We're so glad you could join us. Our morning stretch, I think it's really fun. We're doing this on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. But we have a specific time in mind. If we can meet that time, friends.
We have not.
We have not. What is that time?
8:15.
8:15.
And who was the slowpoke that messed us up today?
Brandon,
No.
right? Wasn't
Me.
it? It wasn't Brandon?
It was me again. My
Was it
lack
Jack?
of technology.
There's Jack.
I told you it was my New Year's resolution. I keep failing you guys, so I deeply apologize.
Brandon
It's only the
and
first month.
Right.
You've got time.
I think we've only been on this new and improved version for a couple weeks
You're
now.
doing
so,
great.
yeah.
Stop it,
Okay.
Tricia.
All right, working on it. Working on it.
Doing great.
Folks, thanks for joining us. Our morning stretch. You can see us Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays on our website, WNDU.com. All the streaming platforms, in fact, and all sorts of ways you can find us. So do tune in. Hey, look at that.
Bye.
Extra camera views included. Thanks for joining us, everyone, on the morning stretch.